you know, one thing that Shimano prides themselves on is, you know, true performance, total performance, and the only way you're going to get that is if you got guys like Tim on the team that, you know, number one, that can give us great input, but number two, I mean, these guys live, you know, on the water. So we had a new reel, the Talica 52 speed, that we had some prototypes of last year. We had the opportunity to put them on the Royal Star. And Tim, what do you think about just the original prototypes?
You know, you made a great point. You say that you know, this is the perfect proving grounds. You know, the truth of it is we live and die by our gear. You know, it means everything in the world. And the fact that you guys, you know, you put your gear on the boat in advance of new products coming out, give us an opportunity to test them, give it a test drive, so to speak. We feel like we're involved in the R&D process. You know, it lends an awful lot of credibility to Shimano as a company, and also the products. You know, we're very, very cautious about putting our stamp of approval on something until we actually see it perform in the most arduous environment. You know, I saw it was a dozen, 13, we had them recorded, but it was between a dozen and 15 fish at Clarion Island last year on a January 12th day, all of which were between, say, 100 and 185 pounds was the biggest one I saw landed. And this reel performed flawlessly. It was smooth as silk. As a matter of fact, I felt like this reel, even on the fish that was up there in that 150, 175 pound class, this reel didn't even break a sweat. I mean, it was like way overmatched for that size fish. I felt this reel is pretty much going to render the 80 size reels obsolete for this kind of fishing. You know, we used to really favor those big giant reels, and because they give you such an advantage, the big drag surface, the big throw and the handle, the gearing, it's just, you know, you get unbelievable confidence using a big reel like that. The obvious disadvantage was when you're using an 80, you're dragging around, and I don't know how much those things weigh, but they got to be 5 pounds, whatever. Well, you know, you feel this thing. I bet it isn't even half the weight. It's probably a third the weight of an 80, and the performance between the narrower spool gives you that spool diameter that even when the fish takes a long run, if it takes 300-400 yards of line out there, you still have a huge spool diameter to where you know, you turn that handle in low gear, man, you're gaining line. Yeah, I mean, you are really putting you've got a lot of torque, a lot of leverage, and you know, again, based on the performance so far, I can't speak highly enough. I can't wait myself to see. I'd like to be the one to hook a 300 pounder, the first 300 pounder on this reel. But regardless, I can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait to see some real Tuskers put these reels to the test, because I already know they're going to come through with flying colors, as usual for Shimano products.
Absolutely. What do you think about, you know, one of the things that we really wanted to do on this reel was a lever drag that casts, right? Is there such a thing? And you know, it's something that we set out to do on Talica reels, but a reel of this size, what's your thought on the castability of this?
We do a lot of casting with the big rigs down there in the area around the Revilla Islands, the buffer zone, so to speak, down there on the local banks between Mag Bay and Cabo San Lucas. A lot of the baits that we use, the small mackerel, the caballito, we actually cast. You know, the longer you cast, quite often results in a bite that you wouldn't have got otherwise. So it makes a big difference on a reel like this. And I cast, like, I don't know, you know, half a dozen different sardines for sure. I'm trying to think, because we had some mackerel mixed in with the bait, and the thing was smooth as silk. I think we still have a little bit of ground to cover, as you know, knowing what this thing's real capabilities are, but definitely there were no red flags. I mean, this thing is gonna, I think it's gonna accomplish every bit of that and more.
Perfect. Well, appreciate your time. Thanks for the field test. And that's Tim Meckstrom, again, legendary offshore angler, owner and operator of the Royal Star.
All right, buddy.
Thanks,
like I said, I hope we get to field test it more.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, 2-speed, easy shift, just like all of our other reels. You know, it's easy as, you know, pushing the button. You're in low, click, you're in high. Put the big handle on it. Obviously, this gives you a lot of torque, a lot of power. You just lay the rod on the rail and just grind away. It's an absolute phenomenal reel, whether you're fishing, you know, live bait in the corner. Also makes a phenomenal kite outfit. You catch a lot of really big fish in these long-range trips on the kite. We've had a couple of these things, the actual original prototypes, here on the Royal Star, also the RP. We gave these guys each one reel, and I can't tell you, Tim and what Frank has said about the absolute power and performance that this thing has absolutely blown them away. Also with the new tacks, we have new TEREZ rods. These are what our TEREZ rail series. So we've got a couple of unique features here. One is the flat portion on the bottom. So this is something that you can rest on a rail, and it almost acts like a little bit of a gimbal. So the rod's not going to roll. We've extended the rear grip so you can get it underneath your arm. You can lay the rod on the rail. We went far out, so if you can get way back on the rod or on the rail, or you can get really close on the rail. Lean into that fish, tons of power. It's all gimbaled up. We did them in 3 actions. Basically, we have like a 60 and 80 pound top shot rated. We have 100 to 130 pound, and then we have like your 150 to 200 pounds.
There we go.
Really big calcium.
Nice job.
3 different actions that we did in the TEREZ family. So just ultimate performance, super lightweight. I mean, who would have ever thought, you know, just a couple years ago that this would be your, you know, 150 pound outfit. It weighs basically nothing versus your old big gold reels, your big heavy, you know, full roller guided up rods. You know, that stuff is basically the thing of the past. It all comes down to, you know, Spectra Line's Power Pro. It's made us build products better. It's made us make products a lot lighter. And then at the end of the day, just overall, just unbelievable amount of difference you have as far as lightweight and fatigue at the rail. You can fish this stuff, you know, all day long. You know, so full systems, tack reel, TEREZ rod, Power Pro hollow ace to your favorite wind-on leader, and you're game on, ready to go catch big fish.